Hi, this is Ann Penstone and Lori Ramsey, ready to bring you all the action tonight's title game. The starting lineups for today's game. First for the visitors, the Maine South Hawks. Leading off from left fielder, Sandy Soder. Batting second, the shortstop, Kathy Cyprian. Batting third and playing third base, Cheryl Roma. The cleanup hitter in right field, Kim Kamaki. Batting fifth, the second baseman, Tracy Miner. The pitcher for tonight's game will be Meg Lovett. She's 20-3, and batting in the sixth spot for her, the DH Chris Pugliani. Batting seventh, the catcher, freshman Jenny Smith. Batting eighth at first base, Denise Dorr. And the ninth batter in center field, Karen Walker. Coaches for the Hawks, assistant coaches Mike Dinas and Sally Zeiger. Head coach Don Kerr. For the home Moline Maroons, leading off and playing left field, Lisa Hausman. Batting second, the shortstop, Courtney Sigler. The third baseman will bat third, Stacy Paller. The cleanup hitter, the catcher, Lori Peaster. Batting fifth, the pitcher with a 16-0 record, Martha Wendt. Batting center fielder, Casey Myers. Batting seventh, the right fielder, Sue Smalley. The eighth batter and playing second base, Michelle Pollard. Playing first base will be Amy Larson, and the designated hitter for her will be Monica McLaughlin. Assistant coaches for the Maroons, Jack Wheeler and Dick Motter, and the head coach, Bob Seitz. The umpires for tonight's game, behind the plate, William Thompson. At first base, Willie Brown. At second base, Peter Glass. And at third base, John Bell. Well, Lori, there you see them on the mound. They're ready. Martha Wendt 16-0.
Right, and I'm sure she'd like to end her senior year with a win and the state championship.
Well, she had to pitch 11 innings today, but we talked about that a little bit earlier. We really won't know what a factor that will be until we see a couple of innings here.
Well, she's been a strikeout pitcher for Moline. She had 10 in the first game against Pekin and 7 in the game today, 17 for the tournament.
Well, here's Sandy Soder to lead it off for the Hawks. Foul ball popped up to the catcher and the put out. One down. Lori Peaster with that put out.
Wendt is very much a rise ball pitcher, and against Pekin the other night she had a high ball umpire, and there's nothing a rise ball pitcher loves more.
Kathy Cyprian, the shortstop. Check swing, looks, gonna check with the first base umpire. No, he says, ball one. Martha Wendt, a very calm, collected person on the mound. 2-0.
Martha Wendt has an ERA of .49 for the season. Not even a half run a game.
A rise ball is a called strike, so we've got a 1-1 count to Cyprian. Foul ball back behind toward us. 1-2.
Wendt's a multi-talented athlete. She's going to play next week in the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association All-Star game.
Oh! Great catch!
There's the talented left side of the defense. Here's batter swings. Right away, Lisa Hausman gets a jump. Right away, makes a diving catch.
Great catch by Lisa Hausman.
That's about the 6th one for her in this tournament.
Well, she made a catch to save the semifinal game to get him here tonight.
Right. She has the ability to make that quick first step the right way. You don't see her come in two and then go back.
Up to bat right now is Cheryl Roma, and she swings and misses at that pitch. Third baseman batting .352. Just a junior. Tried the outside corner a little bit low.
Wendt does a real good job of moving the ball around, going high and low, but definitely her key pitch will be her rise ball.
Whoa, cracked that one down the left field line, and it's going. Hausman chasing it. Roma around and going to second, looking for third. Now she's holding up her hands. The left fielder's holding up her hands, signaling that the ball is trapped. So we'll have to see when that occurred and see what the official's call is.
The umpire's going down the line, and if in fact he finds the ball to be trapped, it'll be a ground rule double. If the outfielder had touched the ball would have been in play and the batter would have had a home run.
He's signaling that it is a ground rule double because it was trapped in the fence.
There's a replay of it. You can see it going down the line past Houseman. The first ball in this tournament to get past Houseman. She approaches the fence, reached for it, and then came up without touching it. Immediately signaled that the ball was under the fence, which takes quite a presence of mind for an outfielder in that type of situation.
Well, with 2 outs, we've got our first scoring opportunity, Lori, as the cleanup hitter comes to bat. That's Kim Komacki, hitting .413, a senior right fielder.
Komacki's also the other pitcher on the Maine South team with a 12-1 record, so she's a multi-talented player.
First pitch is up high, ball 1. 1-0 as she checks the signals down with third base coach Don Kerr. Right down the pipe, 1-1. And we might mention that the runners can only leave the base when the ball leaves the pitcher's hand, so that's the kind of lead they're looking for.
That's right, and there are several different ways to get that lead. Some runners use the rocker step where they start with 1 foot behind the base. The runner at second, however, just uses the regular stride takeoff.
Tough pitch to take that way, a little bit low and outside. 2-2, evens the count.
You may see Wendt throw more low pitches because being tired, the high pitch sometimes hangs.
Joe Komacki fouls that one out of play and into the stand. See Cheryl Roma going back to second. 2 outs.
On deck behind Komacki is a .368 hitter, Tracy Miner.
Tracy's had a great tournament. She's been a vacuum cleaner out there at second base. Ground ball hits the second baseman, Pollard. Easy 4-3 put out. So they got a runner. We'll be back with the rest of the inning right after this. Championship AA game. There have been a lot of people watching softball this weekend.
There certainly have. Last night they had a standing room crowd of 1,500 people, which is the largest crowd they've had in the state tournament in the 13 years it's been in Pekin.
That didn't hurt that Pekin was here playing that game.
No, and I think the crowd may have affected Pekin more than it did Moline. They certainly looked intimidated by the size of it.
There you got to look at Meg Lobitz, the junior pitcher from the Maine South Hawks, ready to put across her first pitch of this game. And there's a leadoff hitter. That's Lisa Souter, or Lisa Hausman. Lisa, senior left fielder, had 2 great catches today.
Lisa will be playing her softball for Northern Illinois University next year, and as everyone knows, they were in the final 8 of the Division I National Tournament this year.
Lisa's a great contact hitter, which is, of course, what you want for your leadoff. Strike 1 for Meg Lobitz. It always feels good, doesn't it, Lori, to get that first one in?
It sure does. In talking with Coach Don Kerr before the game, he calls every pitch for Meg Lobitz, and he said that he would, in this case, try and pitch the Moline girls outside. He felt that they tried to pull that inside pitch, and he was going to try and take it away from them.
So far, that's just exactly how they started off. Right back, oh, right off of Pop. Tough play for the shortstop, unable to complete it off the bounce off of Lobitz. And check and see if she's okay, see how they score that.
Here's the pitch by Lobitz. The ball's hit down at her legs, and I can tell you as an ex-pitcher, it's much easier to feel the ball hit at your head or the upper part of your body than it is at your legs. You'll see pitchers repeatedly hit in the legs.
That scored as a base hit. Kathy Cyprian made a nice play to take it off the leg and go to first, looking for the bunt. Successful puts it down. Now we'll see the first to third. Heads up by the Hawks, and a nice stop by Cyprian on the throw from Tracy Miner back to second. That bunt was laid down nicely by Courtney Sigler.
One of the things that a lot of the teams in this tournament have had trouble with is the bunt. And of course Sigler gets the bunt down, which is a big play for Moline.
Now we have a scoring opportunity for Moline. They're first of the game here in the bottom of the first. And up to bat is Stacy Paller, an outstanding ball player.
She certainly is, and both with the bat and in the field.
Takes a good cut on that one. Strike 1.
Paller was an all-tourney selection last year in center field, which kind of tells you a little bit about her versatility.
Done a dynamite job at third base for the Maroons this year. Lobitz with the rise ball, gets past the catcher. No play at third.
Lobitz pitches. Smith really didn't get up quickly on that play. And Jenny Smith, of course, is the only freshman on either team, and that's a lot of pressure on a freshman catching a championship game.
Pop fly to the shortstop. Cyprian looks at the runner who fakes but doesn't go. Nice play by Cyprian. 2 outs as Paller flies out to the shortstop. As a former catcher, Lori, I know those rise balls sometimes deceive you and you don't get up high enough and you can't reach. You got to go up and get it.
You know, one thing you work with as a coach with your catchers too is to keep their hips a little bit higher so they can get up quickly.
Up to bat with a runner on third and 2 outs, Lori Peaster, batting .393, the junior catcher. So far, both teams have had scoring opportunities in their half of the inning. Rise play by the center fielder. So, 1 hit, but 3 outs, and we'll be back with inning number 2 right after this. South Hawks is the second baseman, Tracy Miner, a real heads-up ball player. The second baseman, batting .368.
She's one half of that good defensive double play combination. Tracy Miner at second, Kathy Cyprian at short.
Tracy looks to bunt to get on right there. We'll see if she keeps it up as Don Kerr gives her signals.
Earlier today they tried to bunt at Stacy Paller and that was a mistake.
In fact, it went to the catcher and Tracy picked that one up, and then later she caught a bunt, a foul tip bunt too. And she's just a phenomenal heads-up ball player. So she's made 2 great plays in the tournament off the catcher and off the bunt. 1-1 to Miner. A little bit low.
The impressive thing about both Lisa Hausman and Stacy Paller is their first step. It's so quick defensively.
Good swing. A little bit of a chop down there. Tracy's also the point guard in their basketball team, so she's an outstanding, versatile athlete.
Right. Martha Wendt plays on the Moline team also.
So does Stacy Paller. Tracy didn't like that, jumped away from it, but it's called strike 3. But
here's the pitch that Wendt throws. A rise ball on the inside corner. And she will play right with the margin there between being in and out of the strike zone.
The first strikeout of the ball game. Right now it's a designated hitter batting for Meg Lobitz, the pitcher, and this is Chris Pugliani, a junior. .277 is her batting average for the season.
You know, Ann, good pitchers don't throw many strikes. They get ahead on the batter on the first strike, and then they try and give them nothing for the next 2 or 3 pitches. And Wendt, I think, exemplifies that very well.
You know, we talk sometimes about throwers and pitchers. She's a pitcher.
She's a pitcher, and Meg Lobitz is also a pitcher, although Meg looks like her control's not quite as sharp tonight as it was this afternoon.
Now, Meg, of course, is kind of a converted pitcher. She's only been pitching for about 1.5 years, and she's doing a heck of a job for doing that. Martha comes in, called strike.
Coach Kerr told me today that he had Meg Lobitz in his accelerated English class. He's an English teacher, and he talked her into coming out for the team and developed her as a pitcher from that point.
Right now, Pugliani is facing a 3-1 count, so she's ahead of Martha Wendt. Speaking of Lobitz, she's also number 5 in her graduating class and had a 32 on her ACT. She's a very bright young lady.
She won't have trouble getting in college, will she?
Fouled off behind us, brings the count full. 1 out here in the top of the second. No score. There you see Martha Wendt. Really like her attitude on the field. She's always smiling, complimenting teammates. Very cool, calm.
She's very poised and will pitch next year at Eastern Illinois University.
Right 3. So that top of the second, we've got 2 strikeouts.
Wendt brings the ball towards home plate and comes up with a drop ball in that case, and the batter swung right over it. I think she might have been a little surprised that that pitch wasn't up too.
gives a good idea of why Martha's 16-0.
Right. Control.
Little freshman catcher Jenny Smith up to bat right now, hitting .253 for the season. She had 2 key hits today, little singles out to the left side of the field today.
Just ones that kind of fell in, and that's what you need.
She's got good speed, so she made them count.
Right.
Turned them into runs.
Went, jumped out ahead of her with a rise ball out of the strike zone.
1-1, ball fouled back.
Threw her another rise ball. One thing you do when you're pitching, if you have a small batter, you're not afraid to stay up with them, because rarely do they hit it a long distance. But you have to be a little careful with those big girls on those rise balls.
Ball low, good eye by Jenny. 2-2. Good eye, 3-2. Sometimes, you know, a catcher often has a very good eye. She's so used to anticipating number one. She knows what the umpire's been calling. She's used to seeing pitches and releases constantly.
Right, and I think your good pitchers don't fight the umpire. They learn the umpire's strike zone and go with it.
Full count to Jenny. Fouled that one off, staying alive. Got to protect the plate there.
Coach Don Kerr says a few encouraging words to Jenny. He's always on the move down there.
Tell you, his kids cannot fall asleep out there because he's giving signals every pitch, both offensively and defensively. Foul again. Martha having used a lot of pitches against the little freshman.
Jenny's persistent, and she's taking a nice short swing, which is what every pitcher doesn't want to see in this situation. They'd like you to take a long swing. Protecting the plate here.
Right back to Martha. And the 1-3 put out ends the inning with the score still tied at 0-0. We'll be back right after this. For 0-0, bottom of the second. Martha Wentz about to be at bat, but there you see her counterpart, Meg Lovitz from Maine South. Lori, you mentioned at the end of the inning, we were talking about that put-out pitcher to first base, and Martha ran the ball first.
Yes, a lot of coaches teach that, and a lot of pitchers prefer to do that because they're throwing repeatedly underhanded, and all of a sudden, when a ball comes back to them, it requires the overhand throw. And they, in many cases, aren't very accurate with that sudden change. So instead, pitchers are now being taught to run the ball over and just lob it underhand, which is a more natural motion to them, and that's what Martha uses.
I've even seen pitchers on ground balls that are not comfortable overhand actually pitch it to first.
Yes, that's right, but you'd like to stay away from that as much as possible.
Well, leading off at the bottom of the second is the pitcher, Martha Wentz. Senior hitting .333.
Martha's had 90 strikeouts this year in 95 innings. A strikeout an inning pitcher, and they play a very tough schedule.
They come up and travel all over the state to pick up the competition necessary to give them an idea what's going to be like down here. That's one of the reasons they're here. Defending champs, of course.
That's right. They come down to Central Illinois. I know they played Peoria Central that had a very fine team this year. They generally play Limestone and some of the other powers in the area.
And they came up and played Joliet St. Francis also, so they really took some travel.
That's right.
Martha, 2-0 count by Meg Lovitz, who's having a little bit of control problems here early in the bottom of the second. There she puts it down the pipe, 2-1.
You can see that the catcher sets up a great deal of the time on the outside corner, just like the pre-game plan stated she would.
There's one right down the outside corner. Nice pitch. 2-2, evens the count. Martha Wentz, the leadoff hitter in this bottom half of the second. Full count.
You know, Wentz a good hitter, but today at the end of the ball game, Coach Seitz used Angie Anderson as a pinch hitter, and she got a sacrifice fly to drive in the winning run for Moline.
A long, towering fly ball. Whoa, nice hit right up the middle. Fielded by Sandy Soder and brought into Lovitz.
The base hit by Wentz brings up the center fielder,
On the pitch, you can see the ball was right down the middle. That was more of a control problem than anything else. I'm sure that Meg Lobitz did not want to throw that ball down the middle. And Wendt hit it right where it was thrown, right back up the middle.
Well, so we've got the leadoff hitter on and nobody out. And up to bat will be the center fielder, Tacey Myers. A senior hitting .221. There you look at Tacey.
Tacey's also played some right field for Moline this year, is playing center in this tournament.
Probably see the corners come in a little bit in the anticipated bunt situation.
Moline has been very effective with the bunt in this tournament. They are one of the better bunting teams in this tournament, if not the best bunting team.
You don't win a lot of ball games against tough pitching unless you put down bunts consistently, do you, Larry?
Well, softball's a one-run game at the top level, and that's what you have to do. You have to bunt.
Lacey puts it down the first base side. Door looks to first. Tracy Miner makes a nice catch and a tough play. Tacey Myers got the worst of that. She went tumbling over the second baseman's foot.
On the replay here, you see the batter putting the bunt down. Door makes a nice throw. Leads her. She tailed that throw. She didn't follow through. When you don't follow through, the throw always tails off. They have an experimental base now in softball where there are two bases together and runs over one and the first baseman plays on one, and I really favor that myself. I think it eliminates a lot of injuries.
We've got another scoring opportunity. Martha Wendt out at second, one out, and the batter is Sue Smalley, the right fielder. Nice pitch, a little bit high and outside, right at the letters.
Smalley's a .210 hitter on the season.
1-1 the count. It's to Miner, who's been a vacuum cleaner out there. Gets the easy force out. And we have 2 outs, but the runner advances to third.
The ball, of course, going to the second baseman, goes to the right side of the field, which a lot of coaches like to see, advancing the runner. That's a hard thing to teach high school girls, to hit behind the runner. And she took that pitch to the side where it was pitched.
In a lot of cases, they're just trying to hit it. Michelle Pollard steps up there and takes 1-0, ball too far outside. Of course, she's got Martha Wendt on third in scoring position, but there are 2 outs.
Meg Lobitz continues to throw almost every pitch over the outside corner. Pollard got a key hit in this afternoon's win.
She's hitting .288 for the season. Nice pitch right down the middle.
Pollard intends to go to Cornell University next year and not participate in athletics. She wants to concentrate on academics.
Close, but a little bit high. Evens the count at 2-2. Sorry, it's 2-1. Here you see Martha Wendt on third. Represents right now what would be the lead run.
And when you get that run in, it takes 2 to beat you, and 2 are awfully hard to get off Martha Wendt.
An interesting situation. Should a pitch get away? The backstop is not very far away in this park, and we've got the pitcher on third.
But there are also 2 outs, and you'll take a few more chances with 2 outs.
Count right now 3-1, 2 outs. Runner on third. Michelle Pollard, the batter. Change of speed there.
You know, last week with Lana Davis, it was 15 strikeouts. This is a game where the defense is going to have to help both pitchers, because if I've seen a difference in AA softball, it's that there are more hitters up and down the lineup.
Well, the runner's going to be going. It's 3-2. Ground ball to Cyprian. Long throw and a good speed by Pollard, but they get her. So 6-3. Take away that chance at the lead run. So after 2, it's 0-0. Moline and Maine South. And we'll be back right after this. Fans here at Mineral Springs Park. Lori, it's a beautiful ballpark, and Mineral Springs is really the center for softball in the state of Illinois.
It certainly has been for many years. 2 years ago, the ASA National Fast Pitch Tournament was here, and again this fall it will be here in August. And of course, it's been the site of the IHSA tournaments every year for 13 consecutive years.
And Barb Waddell and her crew here as the tournament manager just does a fantastic job putting this tournament together.
She certainly does. She was a softball player herself with the Pekin Letts and a very good one.
Well, leading off in the top of the third for the Hawks, Denise Dorr, a junior, first baseman. Looks at strike one, a 343 hitter. Denise had that last put out in the bottom of the second. Swings at strike two.
Maine South has batting averages that are a little bit higher than Moline's. Even their number 8 hitters batting 333, or 9 hitter batting 333, excuse me.
Of course, some of that may be that strategy of putting a little bit of a leadoff kind of hitter down near the bottom of the lineup so you come into the top. So
you have all that speed together, correct.
Bounces in there, 2-2. So after 2 strikes, what you were talking about, the pitcher doesn't really have to throw that many strikes. You try to see if you can get them to take one.
Right, you want them to hit your pitch, and your pitch isn't in the strike zone.
Strike 3, another strikeout for Martha Wendt, her third.
Here's the pitch by Wendt. She gets full extension on that backswing, throws a rise ball, which is her bread and butter pitch, and Dorr, of course, swings and misses it.
Martha Wendt and her smile is coming up to bat is Karen Walker, a junior center fielder.
One reason she smiles is all these strikeouts. She wouldn't be smiling if those were line drives up the middle.
Karen Walker, our batter, she's got a count of 1-0 on her. She made 2 great running over-the-shoulder catches this afternoon, just basically saved the ball game for them.
She and Lisa Hausman on Moline have made the most sensational outfield plays in the tournament. And the outfield has been in play more in this tournament than in past tournaments that I've witnessed.
Well, Kaczynski from St. Francis Joliet also made probably 6 or 7 putouts in her first game that were just astounding with the sun beating in her face. So we've had some great play out there in the green area.
That's right. And left field's a terrible sun field in Pekin.
Little blooper. Oh, boy, Stacy Pollard just crashed into the fence on that attempt right at the neck.
She gets a very good first step again, going full speed towards the fence. And the bad thing about the construction of that fence is it's neck high or head high. One thing coaches teach their players to do when there's a fence is to go over and find the fence first and then come back for the ball. But Pollard did not have time to do that.
Boy, what a play. She just about caught that ball, too.
She's just an exceptional athlete. She came up diving for a play in foul territory today. Nothing intimidates her. She'll run through a wall for you.
She has a full-out dive and just perfect timing when she went after that foul tip, too. Good swing by Karen Walker, but fouled out of play. Third base side.
And did you tell me that Karen Walker was brought up from the junior varsity in the middle of the season?
That's my understanding. So she has played both levels at least sometime this year. And boy, what an addition she's been. Half swing, they look down for help, and they call it a strike. Say she went around. So another strikeout for Martha Wendt.
Here comes the pitch. We'll get a chance to see if she did break her wrist. Looks to me like she might have. First base umpire Willie Brown certainly thought she did.
It's always a tough call. You're always 50% right and 50% wrong.
Depending on which side of the fence you're on, right?
Well, Sandy Soder up to bat, the senior left fielder. One of those people making those great catches.
A 4'11" hitter on the year.
He popped out to the catcher last time at bat. Foul back.
You know, the amazing thing, Ann, I was talking to Coach Kerr before the game, and he told me that not one single player on his team had been offered a college scholarship up to this point, and here they are playing for the high school state championship.
Well, we've seen a lot of college coaches around here at this tournament, so maybe somebody's gotten a look at somebody they didn't expect, and maybe some of those people are the Hawks. We really appreciate those coaches coming out here and supporting the great brand of softball we have here in Illinois.
They've been from every conference, the MAC conference, the Gateway conference, the Big Ten, all over the Midwest.
Soder with a 2-2 count and 2 outs. Facing Martha Wendt from Moline. Inside, jumps away. Even, that's a full count now, 3-2.
Wendt still throwing that rise ball, probably 3 out of every 4 pitches.
Well, your leadoff hitter is usually a good contact hitter with a good eye, so let's see what happens. To right field, but she's hustling. Good speed down to first on that right field hit. Brings it into Pollard.
The pitch looks to me like it's over the outside. She hits the ball right where it's pitched. Right fielder Sue Smalley comes up with the ball, looks at first, but decides not to throw, and I think that was wise. We've seen players throw the ball when there wasn't a play and throw it away.
Kathy Cyprian, the shortstop, hits one right up the middle. And heads up play from Moline keeps her at second. So Sandy Soder advances to second on the single by Cyprian right up the middle.
Wendt pitches right down the middle. The ball's hit at her feet, just out of her reach. Just out of the shortstop, Courtney Sigler's reach.
Now, in the earlier game in the semifinal, when it got to about the 9th and 10th inning, people started getting a hold of Martha Wendt and tagging it pretty well. Right now, we've got 2 straight hits. Goes outside, a little bit high. 1-0 to Roma.
Well, Maine South has made good contact this entire tournament, and their batting averages reflect the fact that they're good hitters.
High and deep. Right field and center field. Right fielder's going to take it, so there's the put out. Gets them out of a jam. So after top half of the 3rd inning, it's still 0-0. And coming to bat will be the Moline Maroons. And we'll be back right after this. The top row of the bleachers.
You know, the fans have really gotten involved in this tournament. In fact, some of them brought noisemakers, which the IHSA does not allow in this type of event. And you see a lot of high school boys come down here, and they're excellent cheerleaders. You know, they make a lot of noise, and it's good constructive noise.
It's been great. A lot of these kids have followed the teams through the season, and when their respective seasons are over, they follow each other. It really makes for great camaraderie in the high schools.
And adds to the overall school spirit and family feeling.
It's probably one of the advances that's happened the last 5 or 6 years. The kids have really started to back each other. It really makes it a lot of fun. They really respect each other's talents.
Well, I think sometimes they see each other practice and realize now they have a better understanding of what the sacrifices are to get here and to be a good athlete.
Well, leading off in the bottom of the 3rd inning is the designated hitter batting for Amy Larson, the first baseman. This is Monica McLaughlin. Meg Lobitz brings it right in. Strike 1.
Monica McLaughlin had drove in the first run this afternoon for Moline. She bats in the 9th position, but she's a good hitter.
It's one of the things about these teams is you have strengths throughout the lineups, and there's really not any weak areas. And that's probably, you know, that's why they get to the title game.
When the tournament started in 1976, teams were not strong throughout, but that's changed.
Strike 2, 1-2.
Lobitz living on that outside corner, just like the game plan.
You know, it's one thing to know where you want to put it. It's really nice to be able to put it there. Don Kerr says she's able to put about 85% of her pitches where he asks for them to be.
I think she has a special relationship with him because she listens very closely to him. I think he developed her as a pitcher, and like any pitcher that has a good coach, she's been very appreciative of that.
It's real nice to have such a heady person, a very intelligent young lady on the mound, too.
I'm sure that doesn't hurt them.
Off speed a little bit, fouled back up and over the box.
This is Maine South's 4th visit to the state tournament in 6 years.
But the first time they've ever been in the title game.
That's right.
They have a great program there at Maine South. The girls soccer team just a couple of weeks ago finished 2nd in their state tournament, and last fall the boys were also 2nd. So great things happening there in the Hawk territory.
It's kind of like when UCLA used to have all those good teams. You get one good team and it seems like they all follow.
A lot of kids take leads from that and learn what it takes and how it's done, and then they know somebody that's done it. It's a lot easier that way.
They develop that pride and confidence.
Up the middle, Cyprian going for it. Takes a bad hop over her glove. And on to first base goes Monica McLaughlin.
Here's the pitch by Lobitz. Cyprian gets a really good start on it, and the ball jumps over her glove. Most errors at shortstop occur when the shortstop raises the gate and the ball goes under, but not in this case. It took a bad hop over the glove.
Scored as a hit, and that bunt attempt goes foul. Lisa Hausman trying to advance her to second.
Hausman has great running speed. She's also a cheerleader. Was on the national cheerleading team from Moline this year. These players have more than one activity in many cases.
And that's the other half of education that we're trying to promote so much in high schools.
It's nice to see some of these girls play more than one sport also, because they have to specialize at the really intense Division I level in college.
That butt popped up, goes to Lobich, goes right to first. Whoa, close play at first, but Tracy Miner digs it out for Lobich.
Here's the pitch. Lobitz comes forward, picks up the ball, does not really follow through on the throw. Most bad throws from pitchers on the overhand throw comes when they try and short arm that throw, when they really don't bring their arm back and follow through.
Oh, hit the bag. It's a fair ball by Courtney Sigler. We've got our first scoring attempt going home with the pitch. Oh, it's a question whether she tagged her. Umpire at home says no, just missed her on the attempt out of left field on the throw.
Jenny Smith looked at him like she didn't believe the call. Here's the pitch. The ball going over third. Here comes the throw. Runner makes a very wide swing around third base.
Had a chance at her, but as you can see, just missed the tag. So Courtney Sigler gets the first RBI of the game and puts up the Moline Maroons 1-0 with one out.
Coach Kerr wants timeout. Now he wants to talk to his pitcher, Meg Lobitz, probably trying to calm her down. She doesn't look like she needs to be calmed down, Ann. I think she feels like she has the situation under control.
You know, Courtney Sigler this afternoon must have fouled off 10, 12 pitches, all pulling the ball left field. Just never got one fair. I guess she was saving it for tonight.
Well, she might have been, and you know, I think one thing Coach Kerr might have reminded Meg Lobitz was to keep that ball outside so they couldn't pull it.
Well, with Sigler at second and one out, this is Stacy Paller,
who would be one of the batters I would least like to face if I were pitching.
Great little athlete. Hitting .326.
She's the captain of the team and is Miss Intensity out there on the field.
Real unusual for a junior. It says a lot about her leadership abilities. Flight out to the shortstop last at bat. Big lead at second.
Lobitz threw that ball over the inside corner.
1-1. There you get a look at Courtney Sigler there on second. Of course, she can't lead off till it leaves the pitcher's hand.
Courtney has great running speed.
Hits to the right side. Tracy Miner digs it out, goes to one. Heads up play. Denise Dorr looks over at third, but no throw. Fakes it, gives it back to the pitcher. You might mention, Lori, that circle.
Here's the pitch again. It looks to me like Paller tried to hit to the right side and advance that runner if she could, which she did.
Another example of her heads-up kind of play, being able to put it where they want.
That's the second time that Moline's done that, taken the runner that direction.
Well, Meg Lobitz facing a dangerous situation right now with a runner on third, down 1-0. She's facing Lori Peaster, the cleanup hitter.
Peaster, a 393 hitter on the season.
And a fly ball to the center fielder last at bat.
Lobitz taking a little more time on the mound, probably thinking about it a little bit, wants to collect herself. A
little bit low. 2-0. Not want to give her too much good to hit.
It looks to me like her velocity's dropped off a little bit. What do you think, Ann?
Maybe just a little bit, probably actually in both pitchers. I mean, between them, they pitched 20 innings today.
Right.
And that back-to-back days. Though they pitch often day after day, it's not too often they pitch actually 2 games in a tournament.
And in this intense type of situation, and they've both been in close games today, extra inning games.
A little bit low, close call.
I think the umpiring in this tournament overall has been very good.
It's been excellent, very consistent, and I think as a coach and as a player, that's what you really want, as long as you know what to expect.
We haven't really had a major rhubarb yet.
Don't see it too often, but people aren't even questioning. You don't even notice the umpires, which is another credit to how great they've been. Full count, 2 outs. Runner on third will be gone on this pitch. Peaster up to bat.
The left fielder very deep against Peaster.
Oh, and there's Tracy Miner, makes a leaping grab, the second baseman, to retire the side. But not before they come up with a run, so Moline leads it after 3, 1-0. And we'll be back.
That's part of that.
Lori Peaster at bat, line shot.
Right away, Miner made a start and caught the ball at the height of her leap. A lot of people catch it coming down. She caught it right when she should.
And that saved a run. And right now, Moline leads at 1-0.
You know, Ann, you don't get to these tournaments without developing some pride in your program. And Moline, of course, won the state championship last year. They were 4th the year before. They're in the championship game this year. Maine South is playing now for the 4th time in 6 years. And Casey last week, when they won the state championship, of course, has been here many times. And that's their 2nd state championship. So you kind of develop a tradition like the old Yankees had.
Well, good begets good.
That's right.
Speaking of Moline, they're trying to become the first team to defend their championship since Quincy Notre Dame way back in 81 and 82.
And it's not an easy thing to do because everybody aims for you.
Well, Kim Kamaki to lead it off for the Hawks. The right fielder and the cleanup hitter.
Kamaki also pitches, but we haven't seen her in that role in this tournament. Coach Don Kerr evidently thinks Meg Lobitz has done just fine in getting them to the finals.
Long fly ball, left center. And Lisa Hausman grabs it. Long fly ball out.
That's one of the easier catches she's made in this tournament. Most of them have been acrobatic.
Well, actually, this is the first time also that the girls have had to play under the lights, so it's another factor right now that they're dealing with. But they're mostly used to that kind of situation. They don't play too much during the season that way, however.
Most of them play summer softball, though. And Moline, in particular, has long had one of the state leading summer softball programs.
They've been outstanding for years in their feeder programs, and it's newer for Maine South because, of course, the Chicago area has so much slow pitch. Pollard calls it, makes the grab, calls off the first baseman. Nice play.
Pollard again gets a good start. Calls the first baseman off, keeps her eye on the ball, and slides into the fence area. And that's a technique taught to players. If they're going to run into something, they're taught to slide.
Well, Tracy Miner was the victim of that fine play, and with 2 outs, this is Chris Pugliani, the designated hitter. She's batting for the pitcher, Meg Lobitz.
Earlier this afternoon, Kathy Restivo was a designated hitter. Coach Kerr alternates his designated hitters.
Chris was given a strikeout by pitcher Martha Wendt in the 2nd inning, her first time up. Comes inside with it, 2-1. Moving that ball around on the plate against Pugliani.
She's going down a little bit more, I believe, Ann.
Here you get to take a look at the motion. And of course, the pitching rules have changed.
That's correct. And the pitching rules sometimes are different at different levels. Some organizations On the college level, for example, allow you to have both 1 foot off. Some require both feet on. The pitching distance at the college level is 43 feet, and in the ASA level and the high school level is 40 feet.
Quite an adjustment for a girl going from high school to college.
It certainly is.
Full count, 2 outs on Pugliani. Fouls it off. Ooh, a shot. Mike Dinas, the assistant coach, just barely got out of the way.
Coach Mike Dinas works with Coach Kerr in basketball also. In basketball, Don Kerr is the assistant. In softball, he's the head.
They see a lot of each other over there. That's a lot of months.
And they're still speaking.
There you see Mike Dinas in the background as Martha Wendt prepares her windup. Line shot to right center field. Nice hit by Pugliani.
On the replay, the ball was on the outside corner. She took the ball right where it was pitched.
Unfortunately for Maine South, those hits that they've had have all been after 2 are out. So let's see if they can capitalize on this right now as Jenny Smith comes up to bat. Ball low.
Plus they haven't gotten the gapper, the long one in. And in all the games this afternoon, somebody hit a gapper at some time.
Maine South is primarily a singles kind of hitting club, but they do have some power needed, but they've been able to string them together. And they're also a big inning kind of ball club. Just to get here, they were down 1-0 in the bottom of the 7th, and they scored 8 runs to win it 8-1 to bring them downstate.
They have good running speed and play very aggressively, and that will break ball games open when you least expect it, sort of like the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team.
We haven't seen the situation yet, but on a first to third bunt situation where the bunt goes down and the runner goes to first to third, that won in the ball game today.
Yes, they go for third more than they stop at second.
Foul ball out of play. An assist from one fan to another, and he throws it back in. Don't get to keep them here. It's not like Wrigley Field or the St. Louis or Comiskey. I guess we better get everybody. How about Busch Stadium down in St. Louis?
Right. I think we've got all the Midwest fans covered now.
Ground ball to Pollard, and she's out. 4-3, retiring any chance ahead of scoring in this half of the inning. So after half of 4, it's 1-0 Moline. You look at the Maine South Hawks, and we'll be back. Bulls and the Blackhawks stay with Sports Vision all season long. Our next White Sox game on Sports Vision is Wednesday at 7:30 when the Sox host the world champion Minnesota Twins. Join John Rooney and Tom Bachorek for all the action Wednesday at 7:30, only on Sports Vision. Chicago's winners on cable. I'll tell you, speaking of good things and winners, this crew that puts on this tournament is just that. The success for conducting this tourney is the fact that there is very little changeover in personnel during the 13 years of this tournament. The press box, the Park District, the Pekin High School, the buildings and ground personnel, the announcers, the trainers, the scorekeepers, everybody comes back to make this a great tournament, and it makes the job so much easier when everybody knows the job they're doing and is doing it so well. Of course, the head of that crew is Barb Waddell from Pekin High School, the tournament director.
You know, with this being such a good softball town, you get a lot of softball experienced people to work the tournament, and that's been a big help, I think, down through the years.
Well, I always love coming to play here. It was always giving little shivers and excitement because it's just a beautiful place to play. There you see Martha Wendt leading off here in the bottom of the 4th, a count 2-1 on her, trying to help out her own cause.
Trying to ensure that she goes undefeated on her senior year in high school.
Right up the middle, right at Lobitz. That's the second one, hit at her, but this one she fields cleanly and goes to first for the out. So Martha put out from pitcher to first.
Here's the replay of Lobitz's pitch. Quick reactions. Even though the ball was hit at her leg, she got it. She short-armed the throw a little bit again. She, I think, has a little lack of confidence in that overhand throw, but it was a perfect throw to first. Lobitz is really quite agile for a girl her size.
We know she's got a good arm because she used to be a third baseman. Throws that one in for a strike and gives it to Tacey Myers, the senior center fielder.
Lobitz, like anyone that reaches this plateau, is a very good competitor under pressure.
Fly ball, Cyprian calls for it, squeezes it for the out. 2 down.
In talking with Coach Don Kerr before the game, he said when he first started coaching, he felt the northern part of the state was a little bit behind in softball, but no more. He feels that through pitching clinics and things like that, they have caught up with the central and southern part of the state.
Well, Don's been instrumental in getting kids together, kind of like an all-star summer kind of team, so that different kids from different schools can play fast pitch. Skips in. Ball 1 to Sue Smalley, the right fielder. Sue was out from the second to first last time, a ground ball. Two down here in the bottom of the fourth. Moline up 1-0. I'm Ann Penstone along with Lori Ramsey bringing you all this action from beautiful Mineral Springs Park in Pekin, Illinois. High and outside, 2-0.
You know, Ann, it looks to me like Meg Lobitz is working a little slower between pitches, and I think that's really a pretty smart thing to do. I think she realizes she has to be careful. I think it's easier for her to pitch by pacing herself like this.
She thought about that one and brought it right in, 2-1.
Your average softball game lasts about an hour and 15 minutes. Which is a stark contrast to your average baseball game.
Out to Tracy Miner, a little bit of a hop, digs it out, and that's going to retire the side. So on the ground ball, 1, 2, 3, we're out of that inning. And it's still 1-0 Moline. We'll be back right after this. After the fourth, so we're getting ready for the top of the fifth. As you see, the visiting Maine South Hawks ready to come up to bat. They're down 1-0.
You notice no one sitting down on the bench. During the regular season, you'll see people sitting on the bench, but not during tournament time. We were watching the benches today, and most of them were standing up when their team was at the plate.
Well, Moline's not following the pattern right now.
Moline has the lead. They're probably a little more confident right now, but that can change very quickly.
Well, Maine South was down both of their games in this tournament, came back to win. They don't really get nervous about that. They say that they're a big inning ball club, and it's no problem. So Denise Dorr is going to lead it off, the first baseman. High from Martha Wendt.
Dorr, a .343 hitter on the season and a very fine defensive player.
Last time at bat, she was a strikeout victim. Right, low and outside, nice pitch from Martha Wendt. 1-1.
The last time these two teams met was last year in the Streeter tournament, and Moline had a 2-0 lead in the third inning, and they were rained out.
A little bit ahead on that pitch. 1-2.
Maine South still having trouble with that rise ball from Wendt.
A lot of teams have had trouble with that rise ball from Martha Wendt. Fouled back over the backstop. Had a good look at her.
She's slowed down a little bit too in the time she takes to deliver the ball between pitches.
She's only had about 3 hours rest since her 11-inning stint too. A lot of major leaguers wouldn't do that for $1 million.
You'd have to talk to their agent. There's the pitch, the old rise ball again, right at the borderline of the strike zone. Probably not quite in the strike zone, which I'm sure is exactly what she wanted.
It's a good angle to see for the fans to see the hip action of the pitcher too as she comes through on her stride.
Right.
That brings up Karen Walker. Karen also had a little difficulty in the second inning with Martha Wendt. No shame certainly in that. Martha's average, as you said, 1 strikeout an inning. Karen looking to avenge that right now, and a good hitter, .333.
Wendt's strikeout total in this tournament, she had 10 in 7 innings against Pekin. She had 7 this afternoon in 11 innings against St. Francis at Joliet.
Boy, she got a hold of that one, but just a little bit ahead and cranked it out of the field on the left side. Whoa, she got all of that ball.
There's nothing worse than a rise ball that doesn't rise.
Unless you're the hitter who hits it. And there's not a lot of foul territory out there either, so pretty much things that go inside the park are usually fair in this park. 2-1 the count. She looks at it, goes high. So rose a little much. Karen looks over at Don Kerr. Of course, they look every pitch, always on top of it, asking them to be very alert.
Walker is a very selective hitter. I've noticed that about her. She doesn't chase the ball very often.
There's some question about the count. Karen asked the home plate umpire. He's going to check and see what the first base umpire has. They all agreeing it looks like that it's 3-1. So with the count 31 and 1 out, the third base ump seems to disagree, and Moline coaches are over there pointing him. So everybody's going to check on it here, and we'll get a decision.
Maybe we'll vote on it, Ann.
Of course, it'll be the home plate ump's desire. Now the second place ump is signaling 2-2. Home plate umpire says 2-2, so that'll be our official count. William Thompson, the home plate ump, gets some help from his men in blue.
Don Kerr said his players were extremely intelligent. It looks like they know what the count is.
Out to left, tough play. Oh! Hausman makes another good grab. The backhanded stab of the liner by Walker.
Hausman is an acrobat. She's been an acrobat this entire tournament, and she does it again.
Right off the bat, takes a good look at it. Hausman being fairly deep after that foul ball, so she had to come in quite a ways and make that.
She certainly did, and you notice her first step was in. I think she's having a good time out there. She's one of those players that wants you to hit every ball to her.
Back to the top of the order here in the top of the fifth. This is Sandy Soder. Sandy flied out to the catcher and had single in the third. So let's see what she can do. That was after 2 outs. Let's see if the same thing occurs here. Sandy, a good contact hitter. Nice liner to right field in the third. Up high on that.
Up and in, up and in.
Called a strike, so we're 1-1, so she must come around a little bit.
Hausman's playing her fairly deep in left field. Center and right are relatively shallow.
Out to right, gone that way forward. Nice catch out there. That's Sue Smalley, the right fielder, snags that one and retires the side. So after a half inning in the fifth, it's still 1-0 Moline. The broadcast rights to this game have been granted to Sports Vision by the IHSA solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any reproduction or other use of this program without the consent of Sports Vision or the Illinois High School Association is prohibited. Well, Laura, we've got one of those 1-0 ball games you talked about right in the open.
That's right, and I think it may hold. Neither team's mounted much of a threat. We haven't seen really that many long balls hit, and of course both teams have excellent speed in the outfield, and you'll find that the difference between the teams here and not here in many cases, number one is pitching, number two, the teams that sometimes don't have 9 good players will put a weak player in the outfield, and as always happens on the tournament trail, the balls hit to them and they disappear from the ladder at that point.
Well, actually, hitting, Maine South actually has more hits than Moline, but they just haven't been able to string them together. And as we mentioned before, they've been after 2 are out.
Right. Martha Wendt actually is very tough under pressure. She gave up 10 hits this afternoon in 11 innings, but only 1 earned run and 1 run.
Leadoff hitter Michelle Pollard fouls off the first offering by Meg Lobitz. Both pitchers pitched both games in the last 2 days and are gone all the way so far here tonight.
Most coaches stay with the pitcher that's brought them this far in tournaments.
Michelle grounded out to the shortstop in her only at bat this evening so far. Made a nice catch of a foul ball on the right side.
She has very good running speed, like most of these girls.
Well, she made that ground ball a mystery before it was settled too. Just speed. Speed can do so many different things for you. I know coaches love to have it.
You can't coach speed.
That fly ball to Tracy Minor. No, and in the high school you get what you got too. You can't go out and recruit it.
And that's not all bad. That means you're forced to coach. You don't spend your time recruiting.
There are very few things that are as rewarding as coaching young people, and I know that I've done this at the high school level for years. It's wonderful, and you've done both that and at the college level, and it's something you never forget.
Well, you have some real lows, but you have many more real highs.
It's always emotional and never predictable.
I always say it's an emotional elevator. You're up 1 minute and down the next, from the penthouse to the basement.
Ducking out of the way is the designated hitter, Monica McLaughlin.
Both these teams are very well coached, and neither coach coaches just softball. They coach other sports also. Coach Bob Seitz of Moline is also the assistant football coach and the sophomore girls basketball coach at Moline High School.
It takes a lot of people to keep our high school athletic programs going. And there's a shot off Denise Dorr's glove, and McLaughlin singles her second straight hit. Now McLaughlin singled in the bottom of the third and scored the only run so far.
Takes the outside pitch right down the line, and first baseman Denise Dorr, who was playing in to guard against the bunt, couldn't react in time. That's a real tough thing to do from that distance. Try it sometime from about 40 feet.
So with one out, McLaughlin on base. As we mentioned, she scored the only run so far here tonight. And she's going to be trying to be advanced right now by Lisa Hausman, the left fielder and the leadoff hitter, coming to bat. Lisa had a sacrifice the last time at bat and a single in the first inning, so she's 1 for 1.
McLaughlin's been extremely productive today for a number 9 hitter, batting in a run in the game before this, getting 2 hits in this game.
She's also the designated hitter, so it makes you as the coach look like a real genius.
Which all coaches need, because not too many people tell them they're geniuses.
2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Fakes the bunt. Everybody comes, but nothing happens. So we've got a 3-0 count. There you look at McLaughlin over there on first base.
She uses what's called the rocker leadoff, where you have 1 step behind the base, and it's a timing type thing. You really have to get that first step in while the pitcher's in the act of releasing the ball.
Well, the first walk issued here today, and that one issued to Lisa Hausman. So we've got runners on first and second, 1 out, and the young lady who hit a shot down hit the third base for a single and had the RBI. Courtney Sigler, as Coach Don Kerr goes out to talk to his troops.
This is not Sigler's first appearance in this tournament, and as a matter of fact, she was the all-tournament selection last year in the 1987 tournament as a designated hitter before she moved to shortstop this year. Her college plans include Indiana State.
Well, she's a definite pull hitter from what we've seen in the tournament, and most of them are liners.
Right.
And she's got some power.
Well, she's got power and she's got good running speed. She hit 277 on the season. In softball, they say batting averages usually run 100 points below baseball batting averages by comparison.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if they bunt to advance both runners and bring up Stacy Powler. She's swinging away, and another shot down the left field line. Picked up nicely. Comes into third. They allow the run to score and hold her to a single. Great shot by the pull hitter Sigler right down the line in the line.
Ball's over the outside part of the plate, goes right down the line. Outstanding play in left field to stop that ball. Rounds the base there.
And there goes Monica McLaughlin scoring her second run. Drew the throw only to third base. Sandy Soder had a little trouble getting up after that nice stop.
They really didn't have a play at the plate. They did the smart thing in heading off another run at third.
That ball gets away from Jenny Smith, and the runners advance. Tough pitch to handle.
Well, the low pitch, of course, is the hardest pitch for a catcher to handle, and it's very hard to move laterally out of that stance back there. Here's the pitch by Lobitz. Ball bounces away. Smith really comes out of there very quickly.
This small young lady, very quick, covers a lot of ground quickly. As you look at Stacy Powler, the number 3 hitter,
2 RBIs out there on second and third. And there they are.
There's one of those alley shots you've been talking about. Paller rounding second, going to 3, and she'll get there standing up, scoring with 2 RBIs. She's been due, Lori.
Yes, she's a clutch player both defensively and offensively. Again, the outside pitch, Paller goes right with it. She doesn't try and pull it, just out of the reach of the leaping Tracy Miner.
There you see Courtney Sigler coming in with the second run. So Lisa Hausman scores, and so does Courtney Sigler, and our score right now is 4-0 Moline. All of a sudden, they've broken it open on that triple by Stacy Paller.
Coach Don Kerr was a little worried about Megs Lobitz's staying power before the game, and it does look like she's beginning to tire after the tough game that she had to pitch this morning when they beat Chicago DeSales 2-1 in 9 innings. The tough game that they had yesterday when they won 2-0 over Chicago Taft, and now facing a team with Moline's hitting power.
And that hitter right now is the cleanup hitter, Lori Peaster, and there's a shot to center. Another great catch out there. Karen Walker's been all over the place for Maine South, had some great catches. Saved that run.
Here comes the pitch. Karen Walker again gets a great jump on the ball, comes in, scoops the ball at her shoe tops, and she's coming up right out of that catch, looking at the runner on third base. She has played just sensational defense in center field.
We've seen her go over the shoulder, now we see her with the shoe top.
She can go any way you want.
Martha went looking to bring in a run and help her own cause as she looks at ball 1 high.
Martha's a very good hitter. In softball, you'll find pitchers are good hitters. Many of them bat in the cleanup, the 5th spot, as Martha's batting the 6th spot. They're not number 9 hitters.
Well, she's singled, so she's 1 for 2 tonight. There you see the runner at third behind the third baseman, looking for signals to the first base coach and trying to get the timing for the leadoff. Of course, third basemen have a tendency to stand in your way so you can't see and know when to leave.
I think that's part of the strategy.
Definitely by design. It was a good shot of Martha.
You know, the interesting thing about Moline, they have another pitcher, a left-hander named Jill Richards, who's going to Eastern Illinois to play softball, and she has yet to get off the bench in this tournament.
There's a long shot to right. Oh, and another over-the-shoulder catch. My goodness, Kim Komacki snares that one on the left side. But not before some damage was done. They score 3 runs, and the big hit, a triple by Stacy Paller. So 5, it's 4-0 Moline. We'll be right back.
Hit deep and right into the gap. And immediately Kim Komacki gets a good start, fully extends her glove and catches it right in the web. Was almost a snow cone.
So important to break right with the sound of the bat. Nice job. Here you see the score, 4-0 Moline.
And you see the Moline fans whooping it up over there.
Top of 6. They need 6 outs.
I think they see another state championship on the horizon. But stranger things have happened than them holding this lead.
Well, if there's any team that can create it, there seems to be a little leprechaun sitting on the Maine South Hawks shoulder most of the season. They're just a great little team, just keeps coming at you. They never give up. They combine that speed and aggressiveness to create things and create their own luck.
And they haven't given up. They're all up in the dugout cheering their hitters on right now.
This is a shortstop, Kathy Cyprian. Kathy singled her last time at bat. Be great. Now she's had that single with 2 outs. Now she's leading off. It'd be a real bonus if they could get that leadoff hitter on base this time.
Right. They'll probably have to take a few more pitches now that they're down 4-0. You need runners now. You don't bunt and you don't take chances.
Ball was low, counts 2-1.
You make that pitcher work, particularly a pitcher that's pitching her 3rd game in 2 days. And I'm sure Coach Kerr told his team that. He called them together at the end of the inning.
Whoa, that's the first pitch that's really come close to anyone. It's got away a little bit, inside 3-1.
Well, both of these pitchers are control pitchers.
Right back to Martha Went on the chopper. There's that running to and underhand throw you talked about, Lori.
That's called making sure.
Right now brings up the third baseman, number 55.
Here's the replay. Went pitches, one bounce, right to her, takes the ball out of her glove and just lobs the old underhand throw from about 8 feet.
This is Cheryl Roma, the third baseman. Cheryl, a good hitter, a .352 hitter. She's had a double in this game and then flied out to right field.
She's capable of hitting the long ball.
Oh, a shot down left field. This could be for extra bases. Picked up nicely out there by Houseman, but holds her to a single. That's part of that great fielding of the outfield in this tournament.
The ball's hit like a shot right by third baseman Stacy Fowler. Lisa Houseman makes a great move to get over to the line and gets behind the ball and gets herself in position to throw the ball as she's picking it up.
There's a single into center. Oh, it gets by a little bit. The outfield, we're going to get some extra bases on that attempt. Well, they hold her up at third, but advancing to second is the hitter, Kim Kamaki.
They might have had a play on Kamaki at second.
Stacey Myers had a little bit of trouble coming up cleanly with that ball.
Here's the ball hit to center field.
It took a bounce there, Lori.
Yes, and Myers pulled up on it a little bit, and Komaki continued on to second when Myers had the ball with the play right in front of her, but she was concentrating on the play at third base. One thing Maine South's going to have to be very careful of when they're down by 4 runs is not to commit a base running error, because they can only spend 5 more outs, and they don't want to spend them on the bases. They want to make Martha Went earn those outs.
We're going to get a pinch runner right now for the Hawks over at third base. We're going to see Erin Roeder, a junior outfielder, number 36, replacing her.
Also at second base, we have a pinch runner, number 18.
That's Jenny Warno. So we've got 2 pinch runners. Now that's always a tough situation for a coach. You put someone in that's not really warm, not really a regular in the game, and take away the judgment. But you got to have some speed right now. He's got to have the runs.
With the re-entry rule, a lot of coaches carry people that just come in and pinch run all year, and they're very aware of running situations.
Well, they're down 4-0, 1 out, runners on second, third, and Tracy Miner, the second baseman, up to bat right now.
Well, if Tracy Miner hits like she's fielded in this entire tournament, we ought to see a triple here.
Well, all of a sudden we've had good contact by the Hawk hitters against Martha Went.
This is a little more hitting than you normally see from 2 pitchers of this caliber, but again, the fatigue factor has to be entering in.
Tracy quite a bit ahead of that pitch. There you see both runners. There's at third and at second. 2 RBI situations. She's trying to go right side, but a little bit past the white line. Foul ball out of play. 1-2 to Tracy.
One of the things that makes a good hitter is quick bat speed. We've seen more girls these days lifting weights and doing things to make their arms a little stronger so they can swing that bat a little more quickly.
Martha throws it up high.
Physical conditioning has become very much a part of the sport of softball.
1-2 the count to Tracy Miner. Love to get hit right now. Still trying to go that right side, but still out of bounds. 1-2, foul ball. The right fielder's actually fairly deep on her.
Maybe the scouting report tells her that she hits that way and hits long. These coaches have done a good job of scouting, I've noticed, in this tournament.
Got to protect the plate here with 2 strikes. Chopper, high chopper, comes down, but it's going to score a run and advance the runner to third. So Tracy gets a sacrifice as she advances.
Here's the replay of the last batter. Tracy Miner hits a chopper to short. Courtney Sigler very smartly gets the out at first base and lets the run score. The run really doesn't count because you've got a 4-1 lead. But if you make that hurried play home and don't get the out, then you're in trouble because then you have 2 runs in and the tying run up at the plate.
Well, the designated hitter who singled last time at bat, Chris Pugliani, batting with a runner on third. Score is 4-1 Moline. The shutout's gone.
Yes, and this is a very key batter, because if you can cut the lead to 2 going into the 7th inning, then you've got a pretty good shot at coming back. 3 is just very difficult against a defensive team like Moline and a pitcher like Martha Wendt.
Good eye. She looks back at the catcher, eyes it in. 2-1.
You know, a lot of pitchers frown at an umpire when they disagree. Martha Wendt smiles. I think she's using the positive approach on this umpire.
Misses that one, evens the count at 2-2.
That's the Martha Wendt special. A rise ball out of the strike zone. Get them to hit your pitch.
Jenny Warno at third. Pinch running. 2-2-2. Pops it up. And we get an argument at first. Whoa, she says, I called it, but we've got it. And Amy Larson has the put out. So after half a sixth, they got a run, did the Hawks, and they're only down 4-1. We'll come back with the bottom half of the 6th inning right after this. Game, I'm Ann Penstone along with Lori Ramsey. It's been great so far. The score is 4-1 Moline, trying to defend their last year's championship.
That's right, and they've had a tough row to hoe to get here. They won their first game over Pekin 2-0 on just yesterday, as a matter of fact. And this morning they came back and had a tough game with Joliet St. Francis, which went 11 innings, and they finally won 2-1.
Well, of course, with the re-entry rule, both Roma and the other young lady are back into the ball game. That's one of the greatest rules I think that's been added to high school softball. A starter may leave the game and re-enter one time, and it gives a lot of latitude for the coaches.
Coaches like it because they can get more people on their squad involved, and of course that helps team morale. Every time you get on the field, you feel a lot better than if you just ride, sit on the bench, and then go back on that bus.
Well, we've got a sophomore entering the game as a pitch hitter as Coach Seitz comes over and checks with home plate umpire William Thompson.
Angie Anderson, who got the winning RBI today for Moline.
Angie, just a sophomore, we're having a discussion. It appears that she's going to replace in the batting order this time the pitcher Martha Wendt, give her a little bit of a break, but we're having some discussion.
Do you suppose they didn't report her?
That's one thing sometimes. Now they're being reported official. There you get a good look at William Thompson, the home plate umpire, reporting it to the official score. So Angie Anderson will bat for Martha Wendt.
Bottom half of the 6th for Moline, number 14, Angie Anderson. Anderson is batting in place of Myers.
If she had failed to report and she had gotten a base hit and Maine South had protested, she would be out, of course, in this situation.
Stand corrected, she's batting for Tacey Myers.
Myers, the center fielder for Moline.
Fouled that first pitch. Second pitch back, it's 1-1. So long since the first pitch because we had the discussion of whether she was in the ball game or not. It says 1-1, nobody out.
One thing about Angie, she gets her money's worth up there. She doesn't take a tentative swing. She goes after it full force.
You love to see that aggressiveness in a sophomore.
Two strikes on the batter here.
Change the count on us, so we're 0-2. That offering by Meg Lovitz is fouled off down the third base line. Coach Seitz picks it up and gives it to third baseman Roma.
You know, it's a little chilly here tonight, but the fans are still very vocal and very much into it, and the Maine Maine South group is standing up over there. Not the least bit upset by the score. They're going to help their team in every way they can.
Well, they're so used to their kids coming back and back and back that I don't think it really bothers them. You get a good look at those Maine South Hawk fans. They've got some red and black balloons, and they're mostly wearing red. Angie Anderson, 0-2, nobody out, bottom of the 6th inning. Her team up 4-1, and she's hanging tough in there, fouling off 3 pitches so far.
Lobitz appears to be staying down and outside to Anderson, and she's kind of taking a chop swing at it. I don't think she likes the ball there.
Get a good look at the delivery here.
She got it up and she hit it.
Nice single up the middle for Anderson.
Lobitz brings the ball up after staying down so many pitches. Up and down the middle. Anderson hits it up and down the middle. Right where it was pitched.
That brings up Sue Smalley for the Maroons. Grounded out to the second baseman twice so far. Seems to be a right side. Goes down, lays down the bunt, third base line. Out first and looks to go to third, and they cover it well. Tracy Miner runs her back. So that'll keep advance Anderson to second, but keep her there.
Maine South had 3 players on third base. They obviously had scouted Moline.
They certainly had it covered. And that's a very common softball play where you bunt with a runner on first and try to get to third on that bunt.
A lot of teams will send their catcher down there to cover third when she's not in on the play.
Shot up the middle of Lobitz. Here comes a throw home, and on that throw, blocked nicely by Jenny Smith, Pollard advances to second. Heads up base running by the Maroons.
Here's the replay. The ball hit sharply up the middle. It looks like it kind of nicked Lobitz on the shin. Center fielder Karen Walker comes in, charges the ball, and holds the runner Angie Anderson to third base.
Good throw home, blocked nicely by Jenny Smith, who was right away looking right back up. But Pollard's foot speed got her to second. Lobitz with the offering, a little bit low. Giving it to Monica McLaughlin, who's had a great night. 2 singles and 2 runs scored.
Monica's a dynamite number 9 hitter. You don't suppose they're hiding their cleanup hitter down there in that 9th spot, do you?
Well, there's 1 out, blocked by Smith, and coming home. Great call by William Thompson. That tough call. The throw was a little bit high from Jenny Smith to Lobitz. She stuck her hand out as she comes home.
Here's the rerun. The runner actually hesitated before she took off and then went full speed. Used the old Pete Rose head first slide. Were blocked out a little bit on the tag by the coach. But the umpire certainly was in good position and hustling.
Really a good call. She stuck her hand over there just before Jenny could get that, or Lobitz could get the tag down.
Lobitz didn't disagree either.
No. So that brings our score to 5-1. There's 1 out, 2-1 on the batter, Monica McLaughlin. She cracks a long shot to Walker out in center, who snags it, looking home. The long throw, but Pollard has got such great speed. It was just too tough. The hit was too deep.
Walker really made a great throw from as deep as she was on that play, but Michelle Pollard's one of the fastest players on the field. Here's a rerun of it. Deep shot to center field. Walker drifts back, gets herself set, and the play's made at home plate, and it's not really a very close play. Catcher Jenny Smith had to move out in front of the plate a little bit to take the throw.
Well, with the bases cleaned off now and 2 outs, that brings up the leadoff hitter, Lisa Hausman.
Hausman's had quite a tournament in left field. Northern Illinois University will be very pleased to get her next year. She has great running speed. Lobitz getting set. Going to stay down on her. Cyprian charges the ball, makes a very nice play. Hausman goes head first into first base.
So after 6 innings, our score is 6-1 with the Maroons so far successfully defending their championship. And we'll be back with the top of the 7th and possibly the last 3 outs right after this. 3 outs, or we're going to have the Maine South patented big inning.
Well, it's nerve time, and there's a new pitcher for Moline, a left-hander, also a senior, Jill Richards, who will be attending Eastern Illinois University. So that we'll have the same two pitchers down at Eastern as a tandem next year. Jill Richards and Martha Wendt. Richards, a bigger pitcher physically than Wendt, has a long backswing on her windup. Looks like she throws a very good drop ball, which would be a contrast to Wendt's rise ball.
The lefty's going to face Jenny Smith. Looks like we're going to get a pinch hitter. Coming into the lineup for the Hawks is Kathy Restivo. Kathy has served as a designated hitter throughout the tournament. Kathy is a junior, a good hitter, and she's going to bat for Jenny Smith.
Kathy swings the bat very well. Played earlier today as the designated hitter.
She'd sure like to start off with a base hit and see where they go from there. There you get a good look at Kathy.
Richards warmed up for a long time in this morning's game when Moline went 11 innings and beat St. Francis 2-1.
She's got some speed on the ball there, Lori.
She throws good speed.
Well, she's well rested. It's a cool night air, but it's probably a good thing she warmed up so much. Right side fouled off.
Stevo very late on that offering, which indicates that she finds that Jill has good speed too.
Probably won't affect her quite as much as some of the hitters actually that have been facing Wendt. It's not a big change for her.
Right.
Whoa, beautiful pitch on the outside corner low, and caught looking at it with 3 strikes. Out number 1.
Big stretch for Richards. Long backswing and a big step right over the outside corner.
Beautiful
She's a young lady that's going to be quite a power pitcher in college and may not, like a lot of left-handers, have reached her peak yet.
We've got Jennifer Kalina. Jennifer, a junior, she's going to bat for Denise Dorr.
She's also played in this tournament. I believe she's been a pinch hitter before. She's entered either as a pinch hitter or a pinch runner.
Don Kerr uses a lot of his kids in very many places in the lineup. There you see the official scorekeeper for the Hawks coming up to William Thompson and entering her into the lineup.
You know, Jill Richards has had a very tough role in this tournament. To be a pitcher with the kind of talent she has and to have to sit on the bench for 20 straight innings and know that you're one of the better pitchers in the tournament has to be a very tough role to fill.
It's part of what makes Moline such a class act, as are the Hawks of Maine South. Strike 1.
They're teams that have been here a lot in the past and will probably be here a lot in the future.
But she's keeping that ball down and out. Strike 2 as it's fouled off by Kalita.
Both dugouts up now in anticipation of the action in this inning.
You can feel it. The score's 6-1, but they're capable of that big inning and only 1 out right now. A little bit outside, missed with that one. 1-2.
There we have a shot of Moline's dugout, and of course they're anticipating a state championship. You can see that by the laughter on some of their faces.
To Pollard at second, picks up the ground ball nicely with her good speed and throws her out. 2 of 3. 2 down, top of 7.
1 more out and Moline will be the first team to repeat in quite a while. Quincy Notre Dame being the last one in the early 80s.
Boy, what a team they had. Very similar to this kind of team. Strong in all the positions, some great power, some great pitching.
And they too were the beneficiary, as Moline is, of a great summer softball program down there in Quincy.
And coming into the game, another pinch hitter, Colleen Aylward. Colleen, another junior from this talented group of Maine South Hawks.
Coach Kerr may be trying to give some of these girls tournament experience that will help him out next year at this point.
Well, obviously, strategy has worked rather well for several times since this is their 4th time down here, and it really does make a difference. If they felt it, they can do it.
You notice these teams that are here a lot do not have coaching changes. They have the same coach year after year.
Consistency in the program makes it easy for the kids, just like in running this tournament. Strike 1. Swings at that one, nice swing, tips it, but caught by the catcher. 0-2, 2 outs.
Jill's having a good time right now, Ann. She's waited a long time for this.
Not yet.
A little bit high and outside, a little high and outside. The umpire was right.
Fouled off. Keeps it. Whoa, right in the Maine South dugout. Woke teammates up there.
Everyone's hitting the ball late, behind the speed.
One and two on the batter. 2 outs. Top of the 7th. Moline ahead. 6-1. Maine South trying for comeback. And there it is. A fitting end for your defending champs. Striking out. The last batter of the night. And Moline reigned as AA state champs for 1988.
Moline having a lot of fun celebrating this win, just as Casey did last weekend.
I'll tell you what, you wait, you never know what's going to happen, and when you can feel it, then it has just an unbelievable feeling. Look at the hugging going on there, the congratulations. The fans have taken part in this, and I know all the teams have been very appreciative.